Alright, so Man United have just won the semi-finals against Athletic Club in Bilbao and at Old Trafford, meaning we now go to the final facing none other but Tottenham Hotspur, a team that would not be in the past 3 years. So it's going to be a tough game. And depending on whether or not we win the game, will vastly affect our future. If we do win, we're able to get 100 million and a spot in the Champions League. And if we don't, I don't even want to think about what happens if we don't win. Um, but to prepare for this, I've thought of three crucial positions that we have and two signings, one being if we're in Europe and one if we're not. Firstly, we're going to be talking about the cam position where we're currently playing people like Garnacho, Xerxes, Mount, and when Ten Hag was here, Mazraoui for some reason because he didn't trust Ahmad. It makes no sense to me. But yeah, so the first position we're going to be talking about is Cam. Now, of course, if we're in Europe, it's obvious we're already linked to him. It's pretty much almost set in stone now that he will be coming to the club. It's Mateus Cunha. Now, there's not enough I can say about this guy. He's been unbelievable in the Premier League this season. I think it's 15 goals and 6 assists, which is un not unheard of, but just unbelievable. And I love his drive and passion. Of course, he did get a red card against, I think it was Bournemouth, by punching a player, but I like that. It reminds me of Keane. We need those types of players in the club at the minute, to be honest with you. But those players who will fight, because a lot of the time we just have slackers. And I want this new energy in the club. 15 goals, 6 assists in 21 games this season in the Premier League. Unbelievable. So if we are able to win Europa League, he's my choice. If not, I want to go for a player that I first found on career mode a couple of years ago. It's Alex Baena at Villarreal. And of course, he is a well-known player, but I didn't really know much about him. 6 goals and 8 assists this season in 28 games. It's 14 contributions in 28 games, which, as that pundit, it's basically two a game. Yeah, no, it's one contribution every 2 games, which is decent. It's not worst, could be better. He is able to dictate play in that league, um, u- unlike many others, to be honest. And of course, the stats don't really show it, but he is my choice for the other cam position. Of course, there are people like Cherky we can go for. I feel like we won't get him because I feel like they're going to bump up the price quite a lot because of his age, because he is a young player. So, Cunha or Alex Baena are my choices for the cam. Next position, it's one where we desperately need help. We currently have a man who managed to get a goal last night, and I have him on the back of two of my United shirts this season. It's Rasmus Højlund. Now, like I said in yesterday's game, in the watch along, I like him as a player. I think he's great, but he just doesn't have that goal threat that we need. And I think there is such an obvious choice, which obviously everyone will know if we win the Europa League, that we may have to go for. He's worked with Amarim before. He is in the top 10 highest scorers in a calendar year. He currently has 44 goals and 7 assists in 42 games this season. I'm obviously talking about Victor Gyökeres. Unbelievable player. I feel like it's nailed on that we should go for him, but I feel like he's going to be very expensive, like 70, 80 million, because I feel like they will bump it up because Arsenal are in that race too. And there's probably a couple of other teams that want him. But he will 100% always be my choice if we are able to win the Europa League. Now, if we're not, there's a player that's leaving on a free this summer. And I was originally thinking about players like Liam Delap. He also wants Europe, he said, which is when Amarim came out with that quote about he wants players who want to play for the club, not just players who want Europe. Which I know Gyökeres has said the same thing, but Delap is not Gyökeres. So if we don't win, we try to get Jonathan David on a free. This season he has another great season for Lille. 25 goals, 9 assists across all comps. in 47 games. So again, that's 27 in 47. Pretty good stats if you ask me. And like I said, we can get him on a free potentially, unless he signs a new contract. And lastly, we're going to be moving on to a position that I think is the most crucial. Of course, the other two are just as crucial. Like it's not much of a ceiling between the three of them. I want you to have a guess before I say this. You said goalkeeper. Oh, and you're so correct because currently we have a man who I don't think he has hands. Like he has made a couple of good saves this season. I think the goal yesterday he could have saved if he used one hand instead of two. But it was a good goal, regardless. Don't get me wrong, it was a great strike. But it's not just that. The past 2 years we've had him. Think back to the Bayern game, and the Galatasaray game, and all these other games where he has made huge mistakes. And this season as well, it doesn't end. We need a new keeper. Now, if we win the Europa League, I want to go for Diogo Costa from Porto, of course. He's someone we played against earlier this season. But he's got 15 clean sheets. And I know his performance against United was poor when we drew 3-3 with them. A game that we should have won, if we're being real. And Harry Maguire, yet again, the Lord, Sir Harry Maguire, saved us in the last minute to get a draw. But overall, Diogo Costa has been so solid throughout the season for Porto. He's I'd say a world class goalkeeper, but the only issue I can see is his price. I think he's going to be a very expensive keeper, but we have to try. If not, there is a keeper that I kind of prefer. His name's James Trafford. Now, I'm sure you all know him. Plays for Burnley. Unbelievable goalkeeper. He's had two penalties shot at him this season, and both of them were in the same game. He saved both of them, and it was unbelievable, honestly. And an even better start. I think they have conceded about 18 goals this season, Burnley, and they still came second. So he has had 29 clean sheets, which is unheard of, honestly. It reminds me of that one season for Chelsea when they had the best defence. Uh, very long time ago. When I was only little then, but he is my choice for the goalkeeper. I think over Costa. So my three choices, if we can, in terms of budgeting, we get the 100 million, we sell some players. I think Garnacho will leave. I want to keep Mainu, and I'd love to keep Garnacho, but I don't think we will. So my three players that I want to sign is Mateus Cunha, Victor Gyökeres, and James Trafford. If you agree with my picks, then leave a like, and if you don't, let me know who you'd rather sign. But I feel like they're going to be ones that I've considered before as well.